Hi everyone, welcome to AVA RA Exchange. I'm Nadine Noor. My work sits at the intersection of nightlife, community, art and culture. Some of you might know my work from being the founder of PXSSY PALACE. Thanks. And more recently, I've working with the Mayor of London on the nightlife task force, and then sometimes a DJ. And I am in conversation today with someone who continues to push the boundaries of how we experience sound, movement, visuals. Someone whose work continues to challenge us, heal us, inspire us. So I'd love you to join me in welcoming FKA Twigs.
Hello. Hi.
So, you're in the middle of tour. How is that going?
It's amazing. It's very intense, and it's kind of, as an artist, one of my favorite places to be because it just offers so much room for improvement and practice, and I'm just learning a lot, you know.
Right, and I really appreciate you being here right in the slap bang in the middle of it, because I can't imagine like pulling yourself out of that space. But so I appreciate you being here so that we could have this conversation.
Well, I'm going to go to the venue and rehearse later, so you're not pulling me out.
Okay, good. And I've seen you perform once in New York during the Magdalene tour, and I was really struck by the vulnerability and earnestness in your performance, and particularly during Cellophane. And I noticed it was actually so annoying because the algorithm showed me some parts of this tour, and I wish that I got to just see it live in person for the first time. But I'm curious about how you look after yourself, how you care for yourself when you're continuing to tap into this pain when performing.
Like emotionally and spiritually?
Yeah.
Well, you know, Cellophane is such a gift. It's just the song that keeps on giving and giving. And some of the songs that I write, they just mean something different every time. So It just offers a new opportunity to explore the words and the meaning of the song in a different way. So Cellophane, like, didn't I do it for you? Right. It could be anything. It could be a lover. It could be family. It could be the audience. It could be my fans. It could be the critics. It could be my best friend. It could be myself, you know, but there's always a way in. And it's funny because when I performed in Paris, a lot of my fans, they were like, Twigs is in a really bad place. I'm like, guys, I'm not in a bad place. I've been performing since I was 12.
Right.
You know, like I know where my keys are. And Cellophane is such a gift because I know where her keys are every single time.
Wow, that makes me feel so good because when I saw it, it's gut-wrenching, you know, but also tragic and beautiful and mesmerizing to watch. So it's so nice to hear that because, I don't know, I just like want to feel the pain. I love to feel the pain of a performance, but then, you know, like empathy and feeling for the artist and, you know, how you might be looking after yourself during tapping into that pain. So that's like really nice to hear that you can transform in those moments.
Yeah, I'm a performer.
Yeah.
You know, I think it would be more sad for me to be on stage and smiling.
Yeah.
If I didn't feel that way. That's where the tragedy lies if you're an artist, let me tell you. When you're out there shaking a tail feather and you don't feel like it.
Right.
That's where it hurts. Not in the tears. The tears are the good part.
That's so beautiful. And talking a little bit more about the Eusexua tour right now, like I said, I saw some parts of it, and there was this moment just before Keep It, Hold It, where you're like doing like an interview segment, and it really shifted my understanding of like what that song meant. I know like tracks are subjective to the people that are like listening to it, but I was curious if, you know, you're just playing around there, or you're showing a deeper meaning to the audience about what that song might mean, or any of the songs for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to stay very truthful. Keep It and Hold It is interesting because I think I started to write it in 2018. I wrote it pretty much after finishing Magdalene. And it started out, keep it and hold it. It was really, honestly, about me experiencing abuse a secret. Right. If I'm honest with you, that's where it started, in the studio. And it was a song about, like, don't tell anybody anything. They speak of me like I'm not in the room. They say I mess up way more than I do. Mm-hmm. It started there. And then I finished it 4 years on and it became something completely different. Mm-hmm. The lyrics then meant keep it and hold it, the light inside my chest. Yeah. And that was just testament, I guess, to the work I'd done on myself and the place that I was in as an artist, like how I had grown through this feeling into a place of, no, now keep it and hold it means look after yourself. Right. So now keep it and hold it means that light inside your chest as an artist, as a human, always protect it, always look after it. I used to think that candle, well, for me, I'm very, like, ferocious. So for me, I used to think no one will ever blow the candle out. And I do still believe that, but it can get dimmed, you know, like when you have a candle in the wind and it's like almost gonna go out. And I've definitely experienced that. So now it's about, no, like I'll always protect my candle and I'll make sure it's burning. Mm-hmm. So yeah, keep it and hold it. It's kind of quite funny because it comes, I mean, I don't want to do spoilers, but hey, we're here. But
I tried not to, but when I saw it, I was like, no, I need to ask you about this.
Well, it comes after this big dance performance of Drums of Death. And that to me is hilarious anyway. I don't know. The truth is like I'm almost 40, you know, and I know people don't really like see me that way, but I've just been doing it for so long. Yeah. I've been on television since I was 12. I was a professional dancer at 12. So at this, I mean, I don't know, how many years is that? It's like,
I don't know math.
No,
so,
I know. It's a lot. But it's a lot. We're in the decades at this point, and so sometimes I find it so funny to be on stage and doing Drums of Death, this like huge performance, and then afterwards you have to do an interview and you have to do, you know, it's like you're contracted. Mm-hmm. It's in your contract. It's one of your deliverables. You've got to do an interview.
Oh my God, deliverables.
You know, and it's just such like a funny concept to me. So I wanted to show the audience that is what my life is like, because you do this amazing, huge expression and you're like this incredible like, alien superstar, and you go through this thing and you're panting and you're hot and you're sweaty, and all of a sudden you have to like be FKA twigs. And how do you feel, and how was that? Mm-hmm. And how's it going right now in this moment? Tell us everything. And it's sometimes you don't know, you know, and often people, you know, don't really care about the answer because it's just for a deliverable on an Instagram account, you know? So I guess I'm kind of showing that part of my job. I'm in a place of brutal honesty at the moment, with love and in a gentle and caring way, but I just don't have anything to hide. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I'm also nearing 40, and I think that so much of my life I was trying to be something and for other people, and now I'm in a place where it's just so much easier to actually just be honest and let the chips fall where they fall.
Exactly. I'm trying to hit this perfect arc of being hot and not an idiot anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to catch up and learn and just I want to reach this pinnacle of being wise and calm and sexy and healthy.
Yeah. That's actually going to be my new mantra, like being hot and don't be an idiot. So talking a little bit about, since we're talking about some of your performances, when I think about your work, it's like a trifecta for me. There's sound, the movement, and the visuals. They all come as one. And I would love to talk about Eusexua and like the sartorial choices that you made, and also the movement choices that you made, and what about them is Eusexua.
You're gonna have to break down that question for me.
So why did you choose the movement and the style of this project, Eusexua? Why those movements? Why those fashion choices? And what about it embodies Eusexua?
Okay, well, I think the movement started, I mean, okay, to be honest, I just never really understood dance music. It was really never for me. I didn't really understand my place in it. And it was very late, actually, like, really, I mean, I'm really bad with time, but maybe, what are we thinking, like 2023?
Yeah.
I went to my first, well, it wasn't my first techno club. I've been before, but I went to my first club in Prague that I felt something for. And I noticed when I was on the dance floor, the way that my body was moving, it felt for the first time in a long time I could be around people, not banging into me, but in close proximity and have really loud music, and it felt liberating rather than intimidating. I don't know whether it's because I'm very petite, but I've always found like festivals and like really big clubs like very overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel that way in these clubs, and I felt that the etiquette of the dance floor and the love for the music and the community, and it was a very queer club as well, and I think maybe that's why I naturally felt a lot more comfortable. But it suddenly, something just clicked in me, and these kind of shaking, gyrating, stomping movements, and just really getting in tune with the beat, and then how much just a hi-hat coming in can just change the whole night. Yeah. Just the hi-hat at the right time could completely change the course of your whole evening. And the melodics and the voices. I mean, I really love, I love quite kind of more like mushroomy, like spiritual, like vocals, like when it's just like a nice like voice coming in. I mean, that's why I love Chorus so much, it just comes in, like washes over you. And then I love that so much, and how the vocal can move through your body, and you go from like stamping the 4/4 and all of a sudden your body's in the melody or the synth, And,
absolutely.
Yeah, and it changed my life. I felt that it really helped me with so many. I felt like my mind and my body was in a knot, and all of a sudden it started to untangle itself. And then I started to really not look into, because I already knew about somatic healing, and I already knew so much about just movement and stretching and healing. And then I started to think, okay, I'm going to make my own movement language. So then I came up with the 11. I don't know if you know about that. So then I came up with the 11, which is these 11 different movements which are based around somatic healing. Just to help shake it out. Because I was thinking, well, imagine if some people didn't feel comfortable moving their bodies, but then you can give them kind of cues to go off. And then I started thinking about how hard it is now with the internet to truly follow through on what you want to do, because I just would always save loads of videos and think, oh, I'm going to do that, and then I don't do it. Or for me right now in the world, because it's so hectic, it's not enough just to think that you're going to do something, you need to embody it. So I started to think about these embodied meditations, and how instead of just thinking, okay, I'm going to manifest this, or I'm going to meditate on that, I would think, no, I'm going to meditate on it, but I'm going to put it inside my vessel as well. So I'm going to do the same movement over and over and over again, and I'm going to think about, I don't know, that I want to have a more organized bedroom, or that I want to be around people that support me more, or I want to have more faith. I want to have a higher power. I want to be less on my phone. I want to work on this aspect of my personality, but I'm going to make a different movement for everything that I feel, at least, the different 11 aspects of life that I would want to look at. And then I came up with the 11. So then that started the movement of Eusexua. But then it starts to spill out onto, of course, the choreography. And, I still want to make a cute video. Yeah. But I think in my woman's body, I was really wanted to experiment with how I could be so powerful and so dynamic and completely captivating, and then not always sexualized. Sometimes, if I want to be, because it's fun. But how I could move my body in a very dynamic and powerful way that's completely captivating and alluring, but sex isn't at the center of it. And that's when I did the Valentino show. Yeah. So I worked with Ballet Rambert and a handful of incredible dancers, and I felt that we really achieved that in that performance. It was about the strength of the body rather than the sexuality. And then I just keep on playing with that, honestly. I mean, even in... Sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, you're not talking too much. That's why we're here.
Going on. I've been alone all morning, and it's all coming out now. So, yeah, then... Because it's really interesting, because I'm doing pole on stage. And I'm just going through a phase of... I'm just, like, really working out, like, what my sexuality is now.
Right.
And so I just worked that into the routine, actually. So at the beginning of my pole routine, I don't even do anything. I just stand there in my pleasers, just looking at the audience. And then I go to take off my top and I think, I'm going to turn around and do it, you know? And then I turn around and I do it. Mm-hmm. And then I go to the pole, but I don't go to the pole to want to serve on the pole. I go to the pole and then I find the movement. I don't know, I'm just experimenting. I'm just pissing about, honestly. I'm just experimenting, but I just think, I want to do pole because I really love it and it's given me so much confidence. But right now where I'm at, I don't feel really sexy all the time, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. And I can just do that. So then, I don't know, I was really working around because I danced a 24-hour dog, and then I was really thinking about shame.
Right.
Like the concept of shame and sexuality and like how that can play out. So then every time I do something sexy, then I kind of like recoil. Mm-hmm. But it will keep on growing. I'm only on show 3 or 4. Like the concept will keep on growing, but how interesting to like do something really overtly sexy and then kind of feel a bit like awkward about it, and then just be awkward on stage.
Because sometimes it's like that. I find myself when I'm on stage and I'm DJing and I'll have like a really fun moment. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this too. And then you see maybe a camera or you catch yourself like having a fun moment and you're like, you want to recoil. But to see that through performance, that moment, that's like really gorgeous. I love that because so many of us here who be on stage for whatever reason, I think can relate to that. What about the clothes?
Which bit?
I feel like every time you have a project comes out, that there's like a certain look that comes with that. And when I think about Eusexua, from what I see, it's very underground, it's very techno, it's alien, it's silver, it's leather. And it feels to me quite Prague rave, right? And I wondered if that's where you drew that from or if there was other inspirations and elements in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing I really noticed when I was in Prague is just the utilitarian nature of the way everyone dressed, mm-hmm. and how it's really important to be comfortable. And it's something that one of my makeup artists, Lauren, said to me. She's a Capricorn and she'd always have a rave bum bag. She's like an expert. She's like very cool.
I love Lauren.
Oh, Lauren, yeah. She's been doing this
She's amazing.
She's been going out for many years. We've known each other since we were basically teenagers, actually. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is like another life, but I was in her ex's punk band as a backing singer. So like we were like running around like Beckenham and Bromley together. Yeah. But anyway.
Another life.
So anyway, Lauren has this like rave bum bag. And I was like, okay, like what's in the bum bag? She's like, there's like tissue because there's never any toilet paper in the toilet. There's a lip balm. Yeah. You know, like, all the things you need some cash.
Yeah, that's me. I'm a Virgo, so I'm the rave mum. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she was like, it's important to be comfortable. And I was like, interesting. I've never been comfortable when I go out. But then I started to really think about textures. I think in Magdalene, it was full of texture. It was full of embroidery. It was very rich. Everything was thought about, even down to, honestly, Matthew Josephs and I and Ed Marler, we went so deep. So Magdalene used this oil called spikenard, which was in the perfume of Magdalene, which is like this kind of stinky scent that in biblical times was really expensive. It was like, you'd get it if you were a billionaire.
Was it like horse piss or something?
I don't know. No, it's made from. It's not. It's made from.
That's what I heard.
No, it's made from a plant.
Right.
But it's really smelly. And actually, they said that Mary Magdalene was mad because when Jesus died, she poured spikenard on Jesus's feet, and they said that she was crazy because it was a waste. And she's like, no, he's our savior. So it's like you want to put this really expensive oil on his feet, and then they said she was crazy because she was wasting it, so she took down her hair and she started wiping up the rest of the oil with her hair. I digress. We went very deep. Because then the spikenard ended up being embroidered into the costumes of the haberdashery. That's what the pattern was. It was spikenard. So I say all this because it was very rich in texture, gems, sparkles, the reds, the blues. And then for Eusexua, I was like, I don't want any texture. And it started with Valentino, because when Pier Paolo originally started to design our outfits for myself and Baliramba, he did these beautiful dresses that had these flowers on, and they were so amazing. And I was like, no, I just want like a flesh bandeau. And he was like, and I was like, no, I just want this nothingness, this like back to human form. And this lack of texture, this lack of colour, working around skin tones and going back to what it is to be a human. And of course these things develop, you know, Magdalene developed. Magdalene is still developing because now Cellophane is performed in the black dress. But it is still Magdalene, it is still the most grand moment of the tour. But I don't believe that album cycles end, I believe that they keep on going. I'm still discovering LP1, but right now, I mean, Eusexua is changing a bit aesthetically at the moment, but I haven't quite worked out what it is yet. But it started with these like the paint on the forehead, because I just wanted to subvert beauty, I guess. And then I like shaved a skullet and went on like.
I was just about to say.
I know, and then I shaved a skullet and I went and did loads of Crow promo on like daytime American television. But in my mind, it was completely normal at the time.
No, it was so cool to see you do all that in the skullet, and the juxtaposition of like American, that glossiness of American TV and talk shows, but then like this something that we, I think, in the UK are quite familiar from, and Europe are quite familiar with. It didn't seem too crazy to us, but
Completely
to see
normal.
that juxtaposition there, I was like, okay, like, but it was amazing. Like, I loved it.
I only realised that it was bad when Gayle King was like, "Are you okay?" Like backstage, just before the internet, she's like, "So, like, how are you doing?" I'm like, "I am great," and she's like, "The hair, like, everything's good," and I'm like, "Mm-hmm."
No, it's not.
She's like, "Is this for a film role?" And I'm like, "No." And then at that point, I was like, "Oh, okay." But I think it's important to show different ways to be beautiful. You know, that's something that I'll always experiment with.
Yeah. So going back to Eusexua, I've heard you like talk quite passionately about like where what Eusexua means. My understanding, it's a meditative, euphoric clarity. Would you say that was right?
Yeah, it's like a sort of I'd say it's the pinnacle of human experience, which is like this is everything and nothing in a moment.
But what I haven't heard you talk about is like why that word. Like, is there an etymology there? Is there history behind the word? Did it come to you in a vision on the dance floor? Like, how did it come to be?
I mean, I sort of worked out at my kitchen table with my partner, but it was a feeling that I wanted to have more of and that I didn't have enough of at the time. A feeling of nothingness. I feel that my phone like ruins me as an artist, and also just I'm so overstimulated all the time. And I think we're all born with such incredible minds and brains, and if we were just allowed to develop those without being indoctrinated with just everyone's ideas all the time and everyone's points of views, and I'm always like handling what the world thinks of everything 24/7 and what's happening everywhere in the world all the time, and it's really hard to take all that in and hold space for that, and then also have space for an idea that's original or what's next. Where are the thinkers?
I think we're all thinkers, but we're blocked by so much.
Yeah. But where are the great thinkers now?
Well, like,
I don't know. I feel like throughout history there's always been thinkers. Now we're like regurgitators. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, because like we're fed algorithms all the time, right? And then how much is like, sometimes I see when people go, oh, like this person copied me, and I'm like, did they really copy you? Or are we getting fed so much stuff all the time that you don't even know where that idea came from? And then sometimes you see, I mean, trends happen, like moments in the world happen, and we all respond to it in sometimes similar way. If I think about like PXSSY PALACE, like there was a queerness and queer clubbing obviously has existed for so long, and people creating like a manifesto or creating nightlife in their own image has always existed. But at that time, 10 years ago, that was like, there was a resurgence of that, but it was happening. It wasn't just Pussy Palace that's happening. Some people see we were the pioneers of that, maybe this side of the world, but it was happening all over at the same time. So that stuff happens. But sometimes I even question myself right now, is like, how much am I being fed by the algorithm, and how many of my ideas are my own? So is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Eusexua is a plight to find space for you, you know, even before your name.
Yes.
You know, to find who you are before that person, that spark that was created however many years ago, before your parents named you, or you were born into this religion or this class or this skin color, whatever it is, you know, like what's the initial spark? For me, Eusexua is a plight to find who that is, because, you know, we're all so beautiful and we all naturally think so differently, and that's okay, you know, that's okay that we're all different. It's beautiful, you know, Eusexua is about tolerance. And that's what I discovered in Prague. I discovered Eusexua because I discovered tolerance in a place where usually maybe I would find the music too loud or people banging into me. Like in that moment, I got into the groove of everyone moving slightly differently, but all the same. Everyone is on different drugs, you know, everyone's on different wavelengths, everyone is moving differently, everyone's on a different mission, but within that space, I found this beautiful tolerance and it set me free.
Wow. So beautiful. Thanks so much. I want to talk a little bit now about sound and production. Like, for me, your sound, it's two extremes at once. It's like this angelicness, but then intense grit. And then there's this like meticulousness, but then this expansiveness. And I'm curious about like your journey as a producer, like when that started and your evolution to where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, that's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
I think early on in my career, like maybe like LP1, I became really obsessed with engineering everything myself and learning everything, and I was like totally nerding out on every analog synth and drum machine. Melissa, the same. And I've just discovered this new thing. I'm going to butcher it. I said I was going to read it in the car on the way here, but I forgot. I discovered this thing. It's like called Kiki and Booba.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
you know what I'm talking
Who are you?
about. Huh?
Are you Kiki or
I'm
Booba?
Kiki.
Okay, yeah, I'm
What
Kiki.
are you?
I'm Kiki.
Yeah, I'm Kiki.
Yeah.
And then I realized...
Does everyone know what this is? Do you want to explain?
Okay, you explain, because you
Okay,
seem like...
I don't know what the origins are. I saw it on TikTok, obviously. It's where I see everything. And apparently the people were split into two. There's Kikis of the world and there's the Boobas of the world. And there's a shape attached to it. And I can't remember which each one of them mean, but I remember thinking that I was, yes, Simone, show them, yes. All the Kikis on one side, all the Boobas on one side. No, okay. So, and I just remember Kiki is pointy, so that's why I liked it. But I don't remember what it actually means.
So I think Kiki is someone's energy, essence, pattern of speech, way of moving through life where it's more pointed. So the way that I speak, it's very Kiki. You see, it's very pronounced. The way that I move is very Kiki. As a dancer, all the things that I'm really drawn to would be, like voguing, or things that are very precise in movement and very pointed. And then Booba is when things are more rounded and have, I think, more of like a cushion, and I see it as being like a more like something that's like enveloped and kind of like more like boobala. I don't know, that's not a word, but you know, like it's something kind of like a booble. Yeah.
I'm going to be so non-binary and now say that I'm both.
Are you both?
Yeah,
perfect.
I think I'm both.
Yeah, I think we do have elements of both, perhaps, but ultimately you have one has a main one. So anyway, back to production. back to production. So I realized that I'm very geeky in production. So anything that you hear that's very like do-do-do-do-do-do-do, or like
that's you, right?
Yeah. And the way I sing as well. So I don't know. Everything is very precise. And then sometimes I work with other producers that are kiki as well. Like Lewis is kiki as well. And then I have to go on a long hunt to find booba. So I either have to like make Lewis be booba, or I will have to create booba myself, which is why I really love the Tempest machine, because like that is booba, or analog sounds are generally a bit more booba in the synths. Am I making any sense?
No, you are. Everyone's going to be Googling Kiki and Booba straight after this.
And so I've realized as a producer, when I found out about Kiki and Booba, I'm always on the hunt to find the perfect Kiki and Booba within one song, because for me, that's where the magic is. And it's not always possible, but when I have achieved that as a producer with my collaborators, I'm just like, yes. So an example, let me think on Eusexua, like where have I perfectly achieved it? Eusexua, the song.
I was going to say.
Achieves Kiki and Booba. Sticky, a bit more on the Kiki, but when the Booba comes in, you know about it, you know? So I think Keep It and Hold It is a bit more Booba.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit, it has like this warmth, it has like this cushion. So there's that. There's Kiki and Booba that I like to think of as a producer, and then there's also just space. But that's because my voice is very airy, and it's just too much. Like I just want to give my voice space. So, Keep It and Hold It. There's a lot of space, or Sticky, or a lot of LP1. There's just like it's just nothing.
Yeah,
which I like.
I like that too.
Yeah, I like it.
It's cinematic. You get to feel yourself in the world when there's like space. Talking about like your voice, do you see it separate to the production, or do you use it as like a production tool?
Definitely a production tool. And whenever
it sounds like that.
Yeah, whenever I don't, like I actually don't like it so much. It's been a good exercise for me. I think on Capri songs, I really was like, no voice production. I was like, nope, I'm just gonna like sing the song. And that was a really amazing exercise for me as an artist, to not put my voice in to not count it too much as a musical instrument. And I think it's really served me well on Eusexua. It just gave me an extra tool. But I think ultimately as an artist, I just have a bit of a weird voice, anyway. So it just sounds, I like using it as an instrument. And the way that so many amazing artists have as well. Even like Kate Bush did that a lot. Or even Sade.
Yeah.
Like her voice is like a instrument, when it comes in. I definitely think Bjork, I'm like of that vein of singer.
Yeah. More. For sure. And you mentioned Tempest. What other tools and machines, instruments do you use?
Oh, well, I'm about to go down a really bad hole of the modular synth.
Right.
Yeah, so I did a session with Yves Rothman in LA a couple months ago, and he's got the most incredible, it's like my favorite type of studio, where it's living room vibe, but then every synth, everything you could ever imagine just stacked everywhere. And then right in the corner there was just this modular synth, and it was unplugged with wires like thrown over it. And I was like, what's that? And he was like, oh, it's my new toy, but I spent the weekend playing with it and I couldn't crack it, so it's in the naughty corner. He just unplugged it and like put it, and I was like, let's get it out. So I know that that's a really bad hole for me to go down, because it might be 10 years to another record. But I joking. But I really love very physical instruments. I learned to play piano when I was young and then forgot it. So I have kind of a bit of a, I'm very melodic. I'm a very musical person, but not very technical.
Right.
So for me, anything where I can just get in there and make sounds and use my body to create the music, it's my favorite.
I hate all the technical stuff. I think it's much more to Kiki and Booba, right? And make up your own words, figure it. You get weird. It's just much more fun that way. Can I get a time check? We've got time for one more question. Okay, cool. We done? One more question? Oh, can I do one more question? Yeah, okay, cool. So just to finish up, I really loved how you talked earlier about that transformational moment that you have in the club. And it's something that I talk about quite often, about how the club is a place for transformation, and the dance floor can be educational. It can have so much purity. Like, it isn't just a place for hedonism. And you actually talked a little bit earlier, but now about your journey with the club and how that wasn't something that you connected with, and then until like recently, and you can make so much sense because all of your work has like been electronica, but I think that Eusexua is like the first time that's like, this is a dance album, like, in my opinion. So and it's come at a time where we're talking a lot about this state of the scene right now and how nightlife is under threat, and I was curious if you had any thoughts about it and anything you wanted to share.
Which bit?
About the current state of like nightlife and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do have thoughts on it. I mean, you're talking about Pussy Palace. Like, I was going to Pussy Palace when it was in your house.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it was a house party.
When it was a house party, and there's certain scenes that have really raised me. Ghetto Gothic raised me as well.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, and Work It as well. All of those nights, they really taught me how to express myself, and the excitement of throwing a look with no money and getting ready and going out and dancing and making sure everyone gets home. And yeah, it is, I can see that it has changed, but more because I guess maybe there's like a self-awareness.
Right.
Maybe everyone's like self-aware. It's it's these,
yeah.
Isn't it, really? It's these, I think. And then also just with governments shutting down places as well.
Yeah.
Like late nights, there's no kind of like afters, or, clubs don't go that late anymore.
No.
But I think that there are a lot of artists really advocating for expression and dance music, and it's coming back. No?
For sure.
I
agree.
think it is coming
Through
back.
adversity, we always create more, and expand on what it means to club and to rave. And there's loads of beautiful things happening. There's headlines everywhere saying clubbing is dying. I'm like, no, it's not. You just need to know where to look.
I think so. I think you're just not going to the right places. I mean, I discovered like raves, and that was 3 years ago, and I've kept on going out. I mean, there's not a shortage. If I want to go out, I can go out.
Yeah.
I think it's just about community.
Yeah.
The community is just at the heart of everything. So as long as we're keeping that alive and making sure the right voices are at the front of it, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much.
It's okay.
I think we can open up to questions now. Oh, thank you. You want to?
I'm not picking.
Oh, you're not picking? Okay. Okay, so you cut my line first.
Hi, thank you so much. First of all, that was just so insightful. Completely agree. Where are the great thinkers? I think some of them are clearly on the couch. My question would be about, so throughout humanity, technology has essentially led to evolution. We were living in communes, then we evolved, we moved from agriculture to the kind of work life that we have. Then we had the internet, and now we have AI, which is really scary and exciting all at the same time. I did a workshop with National Youth Theatre and Microsoft, and that just like blew my mind. I was like, what? What, in your opinion, is like going to happen with the creative industry regarding artificial intelligence, and like just what's next for artists? And also, what do you guys think is the next phase of technology? You asked for thinkers, so I thought
Okay, well, I mean, for you, like, you balance the like physical media and like the future quite well, because the deep fake of yourself, like, I think you were one of the first artists that I knew that was like, hey, AI can actually be like a tool. And that's kind of how I see it. I think it's like how you're using it, what the future holds. I mean, it is the future. We can't escape it. Like, it's here whether we like it or not, and that is, it's going to completely, if it's not already transformed your life, it will be like, I think we'll all have like robots at some point. Like, I think just like the iPhone is almost inescapable now, and so will AI. That's just, what I think.
I mean, I don't know about everyone here, but technology's starting to give me the ick. But genuinely, like, sometimes I'll just be on my phone and I'll be like, and that's something that even 5 years ago I didn't feel. So I think that in terms of artists, I don't know in terms of like the world and the powers that be and what they're going to use it for, but in terms of art, we can tell when something has had AI involved in it, and it feels a bit icky when you can tell that AI has led the story. But when humanity and when emotion has led the story and it's used as a tool, it's incredible. I mean, I've seen some amazing videos and experimentations using AI, and I'm like, wow, this is so amazing, because it means that we can all create things at such a high level of production value. I think it's more just about the rules and regulations around AI that are slightly unclear, because it's how we started with the internet, without a lot of rules or regulations. So that has gone pretty badly. And I hope that we can learn from that and put those things in place before it's just completely common for everybody to do what they want with it. But we're already obviously starting to see some worrying things. It's hard to tell what's real or what's not. But then that surely drives us back to humanity. I know that I just crave being around people and talking, and being present, and I'm really aware of myself when I'm around people and I'm looking at my phone or I'm engrossed in something into my screen. I feel now that I'm being, it feels like bad manners, and it feels like like a low energetic frequency, and it feels now for me like being on my phone and being addicted to different apps is like the equivalent of eating really bad fast food. But everyone can see me doing it, and I feel embarrassed, and I'm okay with that, because I want to be perceived as someone who is present and who is living in the actual like space. So yeah, I think listen, we just got to be positive. I think it's going to be okay. It's down to us, really. It's down to us. Like, we actually have the power.
Agreed. Next question. Hi.
Hi, really great talk. I wanted to ask about performance specifically. So for this tour, you're going to be doing festivals, and obviously performing is a great exchange of energy between you and the audience. And in festivals, that energy might be altered because, it's not entirely your fan base. So how does that affect your performance, or how do you go about festivals?
I love that question.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We're currently looking into cutting down a 2-hour show into a 1-hour show, which is interesting. I think, it doesn't really affect me too much. I started out in cabaret clubs and in sort of underground performance art clubs, and I would honestly, if I could get on this stage right now and perform to you, it would be the same performance to if it was in front of 10,000 people. So it doesn't really affect my performance. I understand that sometimes it's hard when, someone else is on the other stage and people want to make that too. But it's just down to me to keep everyone there. And that's the challenge of performing, and it just comes down to my confidence as a performer and my skill, which is a good challenge. I'm down for it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? I'm trying to not ignore the back because the lights are hard to see. Yes, hi, with glasses on in the middle.
Sorry.
Hi, first of all, thank you so much. That was such a joy to listen to. I had a smile on my face the whole time. It was so nice. My question is specifically about a track, Girl Feels Good. Where did that instrumental come from? I think, is it a didgeridoo? Would I be correct in thinking?
That's a synth that Lewis I'm sure, made from scratch, because he makes nearly all of his sounds from scratch. And it's kind of a homage to William Orbit and all of the work that he'd done with so many amazing artists, from All Saints to Madonna to, you know, his own personal work. And it was, you know, Lewis and I have always been a huge fan of his work, and we wanted to bring that forward, you know, like reintroduce that sound to people now. But yeah, it was it was one of those songs that I wrote it in like 20 minutes. You know, that's when you know it's like a goodie, when it just comes out like that.
I'm so glad that you mentioned William Orbit, because when I first heard Girl Feels Good, I felt like, oh, this must have been what it was like if I was an adult and like a Ray of Light came out. You know, and I loved it when I was 10 and watched the music video and hearing, like, I'm such a fan of his work, so it was so beautiful to like get transported into the 90s. Anyone else? Oh, we're done? Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Twigs.